What is up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood Web-Warrior Fanatic, and today I'll be talking about my history of Marvel Champions and how I got into the best game that was ever created. And this was a video idea by Citizen Y Cho. So huge shouts to Citizen Y Cho. Thank you for the video suggestion. Let's go ahead and just hop into it here. So we're on Hall of Heroes, and I have the releases of all the expansions here for Marvel Champions, right? So we have like Cycle 1, the core sets, the Rise of Red Skull, and so on. And a lot of players that are like OG players probably think of me as a pretty new player who like kind of recently got into the game. But it's been over 2 years now, so I'm actually like, no longer a beginner, no longer a newbie type of player here. And I basically jumped in right around the next evolution time right here. So yeah, this is after the mutants already came out from the Mutant Genesis wave, and then during next evolution here. So basically, how I heard about Marvel Champions was in 2023 in the summer. That's when me and my wife got married and we had our wedding. And about like wedding stuff, basically a lot of like people come over, like friends and family from like all across the country and from like outside of the states, right? Like from Europe. Like I had a lot of friends from Germany, just stuff like that, and everyone was here, celebrating our wedding. And throughout that time, we would hang out with a lot of different people, and we would play a bunch of board games. And I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Tam, who introduced me to this board game called Marvel Splendor here. And I'm a huge Splendor or a huge Marvel fan. I am now currently a huge Splendor fan, but I used to be, just a Marvel fan. I did not know what Splendor was. I don't really know too much about board games or like the board game space, but around that time we played a bunch of Splendor. And then I also bought it, so I played a bunch of this with other friends and introduced it to a lot of people as well. And my wife also really enjoys the game because she's also a huge Marvel fan. So yeah, we very much enjoy playing Splendor. And if you guys don't know about this game, it's a pretty simple game, especially compared to Marvel Champions. It's basically everyone starts off with like nothing, and then every single turn you can either choose to get coins, or you can use your coins to like buy a card. And then throughout the game, you have a bunch of cards. Whoever hits like 16 points wins. So like, here are like the points here, like you have the 5 point cards, 4 point cards, and then, like some of these here are 0 points, and we have like 1 point cards down here, right? So basically, it's just kind of like a game, pretty chill. It's kind of like Monopoly almost, right? Where it's like every game you start off at zero. There's no deck build or anything like that, and you just like play with friends, and whoever wins wins. Similar to like Catan, if you guys have heard of that game as well. So yeah, that type of vibe. So I played this game a bunch of times and I was like addicted. Like at night whenever I was going to bed, I would like think about like strategies to use in Marvel Splendor. And I'm not even sure if they're like valid strategies because I feel like I don't know how much. I mean, because there's like a lot of luck in there as well, like what cards come out, and like your the other opponents can like do stuff to block you if they want to team up against you, right? So like I don't know how viable the strategies were, but I was like obsessed with the game. And then I think one of the games I played, I only had like one card of like each color, which is pretty insane because you have to buy like the cheap cards to use them to help you pay for the future cards. And yeah, anyways, long story short, it was a pretty chill game, but I played it pretty intensely and I thought about it a lot. So I yeah, really enjoyed this game. And I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Keegan, who I was telling him about me and Marvel Splendor, and he was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Marvel Champions?" And he was talking about how Kobe, I did not know Kobe at the time, but that's like his roommate, introduced him and like his friends to Marvel Champions, and it's like a co-op game. And I was like, "Oh, a co-op game, that sounds awesome for me and my wife." Because for this game here, I mean, we need at least like 3 players to play, but also we're always going against each other. And I thought it would be great for me and my wife to like team up, and then like face like co-op, like face like the villain where it's like automated. So yeah, that's whenever. Let's hop back over to Mario Champions. Let's jump back to the core set here. So yeah, he told me about that, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And then I looked it up, and then I originally bought a copy of this for my buddy Tam for his birthday. So the guy that introduced me to Marvel Splendor, I got that for him, and then I waited for a very long time until I could get this like secondhand and super duper cheap and like used on eBay, in like a bundle or something like that for myself. And yeah, eventually I got like a used copy, and then yeah, I started playing it, and yeah, I've been into it ever since. So I started playing it after the all the wedding stuff happened. So like probably like later on, like in 2023. Yeah, so that's whenever I remember specifically Next Evolution was coming out because I specifically remember Villain Theory was dropping cables, was dropping videos, not cables. He was dropping videos about Cable and Domino, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, but I just want to play Peter Parker Spider-Man, so let me just keep on doing that. Yeah, so the release date here is August 18th, 2023. So I probably got in the game maybe like a month before that or something like that. So very, very close to this date right here. And I was looking at a lot of videos from a lot of the YouTubers that you guys all know, like Dale the Casual Gamer, Nelson Oliver Cards, D20 Woodworking. So like a lot of those guys helped me, play a lot here and just like learn more about the game. So Next Evolution, Cable came out, but I didn't even get this box or play Cable for I think like was it like a year? I don't know. For a very long time after I started playing, because if you guys know anything about me, all my first playthroughs was only Peter Parker Spider-Man. I only like playing as Peter Parker. So I played him, only Peter Parker for a very, very long time. And then my wife played only as Ghost Spider. And we would, play two-handed games. Not two-handed games. We would play multiplayer games where, it's two players. I'll be Spider-Man. She would be Ghost Spider. And then let's jump over to Sinister Motives here. So yeah, yeah, she was Ghost Spider, and then I was Spider-Man. And at this time, it was very fortunate for me because there has like the price hikes and everything that never existed, right? So like Doctor Strange was in stock everywhere at like all my local game stores for like just regular retail price. There's a bunch of Doctor Stranges, like everything was like in stock like at this time. So I think I was just super blessed and lucky to be able to jump into the game at a time where it was very easy to get into it. And I remember like every product that I bought was like either used or like marked down on like Amazon, right? Like I was looking for deals. I was like, I'm not gonna buy anything unless it's like super duper cheap. I was getting hero packs for like $8, $9. Yeah, I was like waiting for a very long time for like any deals I wanted. The only new stuff that I got was like gifts. Like from my wife, she bought me the Mad Titan Shadow. That was like my first brand new expansion that I ever got. Where is that? That's gonna be up over here. Yeah, I remember immediately whenever we got it, I immediately opened it and then we played Thanos as our first villain in the box. That was really fun just because, Thanos, he's iconic to the MCU. And yeah, we love the MCU movies like Endgame, Infinity War, all that stuff. So yeah, that was tons of fun. But basically, my wife is very busy. At the time, she was very busy with school. And I would just be waiting for her, to have some time to play some Mario Champions with me. And whenever she did have time, sometimes she wanted to chill more. And, Marvel Champions was kind of a more, I don't know, like for her, it was more of an intense game. For me, Mario Champions is pretty chill. But I could definitely see like the anticipation, like the villain's gonna kill us, or like we have to like stress out about like removing threat from the main schemes and all that stuff. And Thanos definitely snapped his his Infinity Gauntlet on us, right? So we had to remove half our decks from the game. So like I can definitely see that as being stressful. So yeah, this was not like the most fun game for us to play. And she ended up not liking Marvel Champions as much because it was more of like an intense game and she wanted kind of like a more chill experience. Like we just watch a show versus like playing a game. And a game like this was a little bit more intense and like I guess you had to like do a lot of thinking, right? Like what are you gonna do during your turn and like all of that stuff. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna play solo then. And I played a bunch of solo games. And yeah, that was primarily like what I did, just playing in a true solo. And at some point, I don't know why, I was like, you know what? Let me just like upload my playthroughs on YouTube. And I started uploading my playthroughs, and it was all like Peter Parkerman's Spider-Man playthroughs. And I didn't play that much. Probably I played for like a month or like 2 months, and I started uploading. And I didn't know this at the time, but I played all those games like with my wife and like games that I played with my friends. We played it wrong because I didn't know anything about the rules. I just kind of played with myself. And as I uploaded playthroughs, people would tell me in the comments everything that I did wrong, like every little thing. And it was very, very important for me and a very good learning experience to learn about the official rules and actually how to play the game. And at some point, it was like my goal to play like a clean game of Marvel Champions, which is like one of the hardest things to do ever. And I played so many games of Peter Parker Spider-Man before I actually ever moved on to any other hero. But yeah, I mean, getting deeper into playing Peter Parker Spider-Man better was like the number one thing that got me more into the game. Like one of the things that I used to do with Spider-Man is, with his hero ability Spider Sense, I'm sure you guys all know it, but basically when the villain initiates an attack against you, you can draw a card. So I used to play this as interrupt when an enemy initiates an attack against you, draw a card. So in the core set, one of the more difficult villains is Ultron, and Ultron, with his interrupts here, let me scroll all the way down to Ultron. Basically, whenever he attacks you for stage 2, you put the top card of your deck face down, engage with you as a drone minion. So whenever that would happen and the drone would attack me, I would trigger Spire Sense, and I would farm up all these drone minions, like 5 drone minions, and then draw 5 cards, have like a 10 card, 11 card hand, and just pop off. So that was playing that completely incorrectly. Like I was cheating up the wazoo there, and I didn't know that, for a very long time. So I thought Spider-Man was like crazy bonkers powerful. And then at some point, I learned about that. I was like, okay, he's not as strong as I thought he was. And I saw a lot of forums online, people saying that, Spider-Man is not that good at all, that he's like B tier or even worse, like he can't thwart, he's not viable in true solo. And then I made it my mission to show that Spider-Man is very good, even in true solo. That he's a top tier hero. He can handle everything, by himself without other players helping him out at the table, like in multiplayer, right? He could do everything by himself. And yeah, growing, with Spider-Man was that was the biggest thing to me, right? That was super duper fun. He's my favorite hero, in Marvel, in comics, in everything. So yeah, it was very fun playing Spider-Man and getting better at Marvel Champions, pretending like I'm Spider-Man, feeling like I'm Spider-Man whenever I'm backflipping, whenever I am swinging web kicking, whenever I'm going back to Aunt May to have her like heal me. All that stuff was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's basically my history and how I got into Marvel Champions. Everything else after that is, documented on my channel because I post my playthroughs. And yeah, just having discussions on Reddit, particularly about Spider-Man, on Facebook, on the Discord, all that stuff. Yeah, that was like my way to, talk about Marvel Champions because my wife didn't have time to play. So, with the community, that's kind of like how I started interacting more with community. And yeah, it's been an amazing experience, super rewarding as well. Just like, talking with like-minded people who love this game. And yeah, I mean, super duper amazing game, guys. Highly recommend it if you guys don't already play it and you're somehow stumbling on this video. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, guys. How did you get into Marvel Champions? What is your history, your gaming history? Is this kind of like the first game of like this type of level, I guess is the word to say, that you played? Because I have never played Arkham Horror or like Lord of the Rings, LCG, and that stuff. So like, since, before this, I think I've only played like TCGs, right? And then like stuff like Catan, stuff like Splendor. So Marvel Champions was definitely like my first type of like co-op game that I really enjoy like to this level. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, guys, what is your history? And yeah, I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. I'll see you guys all in the next video.